finna change your life with the re-engineered Fractals print pods, the 3.0 featuring the universal screen printing tool, the X-Plug. Whether you got a pro model setup or a cheapo off of Amazon, this groundbreaking attachment allows you to convert any existing screen printing press into an unlimited color mobile monster. With our patented registration retention system, you'll be seamlessly moving in and out of projects, no problem. Never have to worry about running out of print heads again. Problem solved.
Welcome back, my awesome people. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Swindoe, who is an entrepreneur, business person, and just an overall inventor. Now, in this video, you're gonna get some gems, whether it's on patents, whether it's on business strategies, how you can go from an idea to an actual product. Here's the interview. Welcome back, my awesome people. Today, I am here with Swindoe from Fractals. He is the inventor, owner of Fractals print pods. Now, for those of you who are my dedicated viewers, you probably have seen him about almost a year ago when we first did our interview, and he was up to big things back then. But now he is back and telling us even more bigger things, whether it's about patents, whether it's about his new invention, whether it's about his traveling, his entrepreneurship, his business, everything that you need to know. So when you are trying to build your own business, if you are an inventor, you better check this out. Stay to the end because this is going to be full of knowledge, full of wisdom. So, Swindoe, how are you doing, my brother?
Woo, brother, man. I'm happy to be back right here on another Jacob Rant. You know how it goes, man.
Definitely. Once I saw what you were up to, I'm like, you know what? I have to get you back. You have to update us with what's going on. I know you're blowing up. Your inventions are blowing up. So let's get right into it because I'm sure my viewers are ready to hear some awesome things. So Swin, for those that did not see the last interview that we had almost a year ago, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what inspired you to start Fractals print pods, and just some overview of the history and your life as an inventor?
Well, man, I'm Swindoe, and I'm an artist, man, at heart. You know, entrepreneur. I'm a father. I'm an inventor. I do everything that makes my heart smile. You know what I'm saying? And I like to just give that to the world. And it comes through my inventions, through just everything I try to do. So, man, Fractals, man, we here. We made it through another year. This is our second year of our official launch. Man, and you know what it do. Jacob, man, when you've been an entrepreneur and you trying to make it work, you know, you got to pivot, man. It's all about the pivot. So that's where we at right now with Fractals.
And when I first interviewed you, you had the bigger print pod system.
And what we're looking at right now is just two pods put together. So it allows you to have a scalable print station. And so, like I said, I started off with one. And if I had a machinery that can scale with my business, it would have been perfect. So I had to create it. So you can add print pods together to create more print stations and increase your productivity. Secondly, it's the only screen printing and heat press combo on the market. So you don't have to have two separate different machines in order to create your designs. You can actually just remove. It has interchangeable heating elements that you can remove for flashing, and then you can add one for the heat press.
But can you just tell us a little bit about that before we talk about your latest invention, the X-Plug?
Yeah, so Fractals, man, if for people that don't know, it's your first time tapping in, Fractals is the first all-in-one unlimited color screen printing and heat press pod system. And really what that means, it allows you to grow as your business grows. And it's pretty much the only setup out there that allows you to scale unlimited. You know what I'm saying? And I really created it, man, off top just because that's where I was at when I first started. Man, I realized that there was a gap and there was a problem in how the tools that we use as screen printers didn't evolve with us as a business grew. And so that just took me on a journey of trying to make it happen. So that's the older model. That's our previous 2.0 version of the Fractals. And you know, this newer one, we just added to it, man. I knew, man, the year is coming up. I like to drop something new, you know, every season. And so the spring is a great way to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect season to enlighten with something that's innovative, even more creativity, even more empowerment. And so to get into your next question, man, that X plug is it's a universal screen printing tool, man. It's something that has been on my mind probably for like 3 to 4 years. And I knew I wanted to drop it, but I just figured I had to really establish fractals first because it's a concept, a new concept in itself. Being able to heat press and screen print, and embody the line press system, but making it even more functional, even more um, capable for the average person. And it's something on the market. I couldn't find anything on the market when I was looking in that direction to give me that unlimited color. And so, I went into creating it.
And like the old traditional way of doing screen printing was you had those big machines that pretty much took up a whole room. You probably had maybe two or three, but then with your 2.0, it was a lot smaller, more compact, so you can do it in just in someone's bedroom, especially if you're a beginning printer or maybe even a small scale business. But now your new invention, it's not even just for a room. You can literally carry it around and use it anywhere. So can you tell us about how mobile it is? Because I saw some of your videos, which you just pretty much take it, you can attach it to a pre-existing print pod and
Yeah.
get your business going. So can you tell us what was the aha moment? Like what inspired you to start this more smaller, even more compact X plug?
Man, it's crazy how life works, man. Universe always knows what you need, and so situations happen where my my shop that I had was about 1,800, 2,000 square feet, and I was doing manufacturing. I was printing shirts there. We were doing a lot of events, and it just happened that I had to get out of there in like 3 to 4 days, right? They said I couldn't manufacture it in that facility anymore. And so that really made me, I had to move everything into the house, into a garage, into my living room, right? And so it really got me tapped back into why I was doing it. And the majority of the people that are actually using screen printing and printing t-shirts and having a brand, they're usually doing it out of their house. And so just being in a smaller space, it made me create a smaller footprint of a machine that can fit into this living room and that can fit into a bedroom. And so that's where the idea, the transformation came from. And now the X plug really allows you to implement anybody with a screen printing machine, whether you have a professional model or you have a cheap one from Amazon that cost you 150 bucks, that was a one station. This gives you the functionality of a Fractals, which is the engine. The engine of the Fractals is the unlimited color capability of the screen printing and the freedom registration. We call it the registration retention system, and it allows you to, as a brand, started off as a brand, bro. Jake, I was a brand beginning with a 4 color one station. And the whole reason why I started this journey was that I could never get to my brand because either as soon as I registered my designs, a client would walk through the door and needed to get some shirts printed. And so that really took me away from the love of my brand and being able to print. So now with this X plug, this allows any person with a screen printing machine to plug it, the unlimited color X plug into your machine and give you the capabilities of printing your project, 10 projects, 5 color projects, any project that you want, and be able to maintain the registration and not have to waste the time.
That is amazing because, that is pretty much scalability. Because if you don't improve, if you don't scale your business or your invention, then you're pretty much just going to be a pretty much one invention type of brand. But you have elevated it. You went from, okay, my space is getting smaller. Guess what? My invention will be more compact and more smaller. But not only is it smaller, but it actually does more than the bigger ones. And I'm sure it's more efficient, probably cheaper, probably even more colors, as you said, right? You start off off with just the 4-color. Now it's unlimited. I'm not in the printing sector, but I'm sure my viewers who are, they are probably nodding their head saying, yep, that is a big problem that we face all the time. So now looking at the industry, the print pod industry, what do you think the biggest issue is? Is it size? Is it expense? What is the biggest issue in the print pod industry right now?
When you say pod, are you meaning like print on demand?
Yeah,
Type of,
printing on demand, or maybe if you already have things and just trying to sell them. What do you think the biggest issue is right now?
the biggest issue for us was I faced the inclusivity of allowing anybody with a screen printing machine to be upgraded with our invention. And I'm sorry, I'm hitting my mic. It allowed everybody to be like upgraded. And to me, that is the core of a great invention. People would hit me and say, man, I really want to get your fractals, man. That junk is dope, man. It's gonna improve my productivity, but man, I just got this big five, six, $10,000 machine I just bought, and I just I don't know when I'll be able to get one, right? And and so I've been sitting on this idea probably for about 3 to 4 years. And it came to me, people always affirm your ideas, man. They confirm the thoughts that you have. And so as I was at an expo one time, a person came up to me and be like, man, it would be really dope. Like I have a machine, but if you made something that could fit on my machine, and right. And I was like, man, okay. And I'm thinking, damn, I was already on that vibe. And then he came through with a little drawing. I'm like, man, that's pretty close to like what I was thinking. I'm like, man, but I knew I just had to establish something first in this industry. But the biggest like hurdles that we run into is space, the ability to be able to be more productive, speed up production, to be more efficient, whether you're a one person operator or you're a 5-person, 10-person operation. Those are the issues that we run into. And 90% of the people aren't starting off in a brick and mortar, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 square feet that allow for a auto or a 8x8 manual screen printing setup. And so I think the main focus should be as a person that's trying to innovate industry is focus on the needs and the problems and attack those. And we really did that. We hit that on the head here with the X Plug.
No, you definitely did. Because I was scrolling through your Instagram, scrolling through your website. The X Plug is revolutionary. And so how customizable is the X Plug? For example, like I know you can definitely do t-shirts, but can it also maybe do hoodies? Can it do maybe like hats maybe, or maybe the next invention might start targeting those other types of pieces of clothing? So can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so all of those above that you named, man, the hoodies, sweatshirts, we do um, aprons for table aprons. We do I'm printing right now on some cardboard boxes that we print out with. We do little bags, duffel bags. Man, this is dope. I'm glad you brought this up because a person that I work with or I see a lot at the metal shop, he just invented a press that allow you to make skateboards. So it presses the maples together. It's like a 7, 8 ply maple press that he has, and he cuts the boards out of. And so we're working together to make an attachment for the fractals that'll allow you to sit the skateboard on it, and then you'll be able to screen print right on the skateboard.
Oh, snap.
Dope. Yeah, we're gonna drop that probably in a couple of months, and just collaborating with his company and Fractals, because that's man, my sons love skating. You know what I mean? I used to be around the skate park a lot when I was coming up. I used to love to skate. And so I did that early in my career with the print shop, but we would do it with the vinyl stickers. But to have the capability to be able to screen print and do your different designs on a skateboard, I think be dope. So it's really unlimited, man. Any flat substrate that you could think of, you can print with it. Yeah.
You're not even doing materials anymore. Now you're going into wood. Maybe I saw this one thing where hey, you might even go on to, like, for example, tattoos, right? I don't know if that's going to be a futuristic AI thing, but that's actually so cool because I have a few skateboarding friends, and they always complain about the vinyl peeling off, and they would rather customize it, something that's permanent. And that could even be amazing in the hotter countries or the hotter states where they want to do branding, right? Start giving out free skateboards or free wood or even metal type of products. And so when we're looking at not only fractals, but the quality of the X plug and your invention, it can definitely compete with the bigger pods as well, right?
Yeah, so let me clarify. So the X plug is just a piece of functionality within the Fractals print pod system. So it's still Fractals print pods. The X plug is just featuring the X plug as the removable, unlimited, universal screen printing tool. And welcome back. I'm gonna show you how to turn your budget-friendly press into an unlimited color monster. Check it out. So first you want to fit the X plug into the front clamp. You want to clamp it down and make sure it's secure. Grab your screen and you might run into problems. See, one of the issues is that the off contact doesn't allow for the registration brackets to fit completely in the eyelets. And in this press, there are no off contact adjustments. So this is the trick you'll have to do. You want to get some spacers that you can put underneath the plug to lift it up to your desired height so that the registration brackets fit securely and correctly into the eyelets. Put one on each side, give it a little more stability. Replace the plug and tighten the clamps down. It's on there secure. Now let's see how it fits in. Nice. It's in there secure. You want to make sure that your press is bolted down to your tabletop or the desk or however you're using it. But right here you can see our off contact is good. We got about in between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. You can also adjust the off contact more by putting little spacers underneath the screen, or adjust the height that you have the X plug sitting on top, and that'll allow you to have off contact adjustment on a budget press. All right, so it's still Fractals print pods, but featuring the X plug because that's something that's universal, that regardless if you got into the Fractals ecosystem or not, you can still use it on your manual press. But so go back to one of the questions you asked me was how scalable is the Fractal system? And we did break it down. We broke it apart even more on this 3.0 version, and we allowed you to have a lower entry point into our system. And so you could start with just the X plug if that's all you need, and that's a really affordable entry point. Or if you don't have an existing printing system, now you can get just the base, our print station, with the plug for well under $1,000, right? And then you can add the rail. You can grow with the heating elements, whether you use the heat press or the flash model. And then once you get to that point and you want to scale business, now you can just add pods to it to grow as your business grows. So that's the ecosystem of Fractals that really allow us and separate ourselves from any other screen printing machine on the market. And that's what I really want to clarify for people, because some people think that it's a whole different system. It's still Fractals. We've just broken it down to a way where it's really modular. It's really a fractal. If you understand what fractal means, that it is really now a fractal that, it just keep adding to it, and the smaller portion looks the same as the bigger portion.
So it's definitely like you have the main system, and then you have the X plug as not only just an attachment, but you can even add more to it. So that way your one station now does more than the four or the two.
Right. And like, since we sitting here, right? So right here we have the X plug in with, we have the print, the 3.0 station and the rail and the heat press mod on it, but you can see this part just slides right out. When on the 2.0 version, um, it was it was permanently mounted in there and you couldn't remove it. And so this is the engine that'll allow you to put that in any manual screen printing press and have unlimited color,
So
and
if for example, if I was a small business but I didn't have my own station, say I was for example renting it out from, another business or another place, could I just buy the X plug and then maybe attach it to that other press, or does it have to be a Fractals press?
exactly. No, it doesn't have to be a fractal press. So if you already have an existing manual front clamping screen printing press, it will fit on there and it'll allow you to have unlimited color. And it's really, man, for the brands, for the people that don't have the space and that have multiple colors that they want to print, multiple designs, but the biggest problem, you're always running out of heads. You're running out of print heads. And so this solves that problem and it gives you that space to be able to, man, be a monster in a small space.
No, that's amazing because I'm guessing before the X plug, people would actually have to buy multiple stations, but now they don't have to. They just have the X plug, attach it as they need it, and then just move on with their brand. So with this invention, I know in the previous 2.0, you told me how the patent worked. Now with this one, how is the patent going on? Are people, other brands, other companies chasing you down saying, hey, we want that, we want that, we want your patent? How's the patent process this time around?
The patent, it's a process. So it usually takes in between 12 months to 24 months to complete the process. Right now, we're in an office action and it's an amendment. So it always happens. You have to keep clarifying your patent and your claims until it gets to a point where it's really defined. And as for the examiners, the people that are doing, they're going over your patent and the ones that award you your patent, they just want to be very clear that yours is separate from this one. And in our case, it's pretty simple, but I'm just going through that process at the moment. And so I actually have two current patents that we're doing different amendments on. And one is the X plug edition. And the previous was that we talked about last year was the actual Fractals print pod system. And so they really just build upon each other. I had to establish the first one that actually has our main claims, which are, our interchangeable heating systems, our registration, and the actual pod system and how they link together. And now I'm building upon though that initial patent, which the X plug is part of that. And then we have another one that I can't really talk about now, but that's also building on top of the system that we might drop on the 4.0 if we're ready for it next year. But it's just about establishing a base, just like our fractals, about establishing the base, and then you keep building on top of it and keep improving. The patent system is very, very similar to that.
Well, when the 4.0 comes out, just make sure that you're ready for an interview because we want to definitely hear about it. So you are pretty much building out a Fractals ecosystem. So you start off with the main station, the foundation, the flagship product, and then from there you're building upon it. And the way it's going, I think you're doing an amazing job because you have the station, but then you're adding things that are revolutionizing, mobility, more efficient, unlimited colors, and also not only is it permanent, it's movable to other stations as well. So I think this is a big thing, man. This is amazing. So can you tell us more about your creative process? So I know you said that you've been thinking about this for 3-4 years for the X plug specifically, but just the whole Fractals ecosystem. How do you go from an idea to a finished product? So I know you mentioned that you got it sketched out at first, and then after that sketch, how did it go?
Man, my process is this. Like, I I have to see it in my head. Like I work through a lot of different ideas. I'll sit there a lot of times. I like probably for the last week we just did a different innovation, and I can't wait to really release it or show it. It's something that you can't really see it, but it makes it function a lot better. So that process looks like me looking at the machine. I'll stare at it for hours. I'll turn it, get a different angle, and I'll go through that process and go through a lot of different examples in my head until I come up with one that I think will work. And then I get to building it. and then I'll build it out. And then when it works and I got it functioning like I want it, then I start removing parts. Now I'm start thinking of how can I make the experience better for the user. Then I go through that process of, okay, I wanted to make it so that the user can just put it in real quick and not have to have a wrench. You know what I mean? I'm going through the process of what makes it faster. It's all about speed. It's about um, the user experience, right? And then once I get through that process, then I'm thinking about the look, the aesthetic of it. To me, it's got to be sexy, man. I want it to look dope. As you can see, our color schemes are like, I want it to stand out. I don't want it to be in the back room. We're bringing things from the back room to the showroom. You feel me? Like when you first walk into the shop, we people like, oh man, I see your machinery dope. Like, what is that? I mean, like, so to me, those are my process. I think it out. I go through every iteration in my mind until I figure out a way that I think this one will work best. And then I build it, and then I work with the the user experience, make sure the user experience is going to be good, and then I work on the aesthetics of it. And that's just my process of every innovation, every piece of fractals. I've gone through that process to get to the finished version that you see now.
You know, that's spoken like a true inventor, because you create the product, then the product works great. Now you're like, okay, what can I eliminate? The product still works, but how can I make it more efficient? Then you start going to the aesthetics, and not gonna lie, but the yellow and red, so dope. If I saw this in a store, I'd be like, that's Fractals. I will know right
Right.
away, because I've never seen, like, I've seen a lot of print press. I've seen tons of videos on people starting clothing brands, and all the print presses, they're like gray,
Yeah.
black, they're the regular machine colors, right? But this, like, if I walk in, I'm like, oh, you're using a Fractals machine. Amazing. Like, you can tell right off the bat.
Yeah.
So as an inventor and of course an entrepreneur, how do you stay motivated? Because sometimes, after maybe 10 tries, you fail all 10 times, you're like, you know what? I give up. Some people might give up, but you have it. You push through it and you make the best of it. So what's your motivation? I know it's a passion, but how do you stay motivated in this tough industry and business?
Man, really, it is passion, man. It was a vision that was given to me. Um, and once I get a vision in my head, the big picture, I can't unsee it. I just can't unsee the possibility. And so usually I work my way back from the big vision. I just start working my way back. I reverse engineer everything. And so what kept me going is this is my process. It's funny you ask, and because I haven't spoken on this before, is that each year, probably when I was 5 years into it, I started off with an idea, get a certain point, and I run into a roadblock, but then life would take over. You know what I mean? Something would happen, or, just other distractions of life. But I want to say 2017 is when I started out each year improving fractals, and I get 3 months in, 4 months in, hit a roadblock. It's always in the back of my mind. Next year, start off, man, like this is gonna be the year I really put it out. I go 6 months, you know what I mean, pushing on, and then life hits. Each year, right, till I got about 2022, I got where I'm doing it every day, 365 days a year. And what kept me going was I know that this will improve people's life. This will benefit people in a financial way. This will give them financial freedom. And then I pair that with just my story. And I don't ask people or I don't encourage people to do something I've never done, man. I jumped out of my job that I was working every day that was unfulfilling because I wanted financial freedom and I wanted freedom to never miss any of my kids' soccer games or soft baseball games or for anything that had to do with work. I wanted the freedom to live life and be creative. And so I think the bigger motivation behind me is to empower others to have that same freedom. And I say, well, I guess I'm the example. I'm the prototype, right? Like, I'm the prototype of that. So Therefore, I have to keep improving myself, keep showing the world new iterations of myself and new stories that can help motivate them to get out of a unfulfilling job doing something that as an artist, man, we gotta express ourselves. We will die. I was in a cubicle and I felt like I died every day. You feel me? That was, and I figured, man, if I could pass this feeling of freedom, of a willingness to wake up. I work so much now, but I love it. It don't even feel like work. I was I was welling and making things for about 2 in the morning. Got up fresh 6:30 in the morning every morning, passionate about finishing, creating, designing. That's what life is about. And so for me to empower somebody with a tool to them to express themselves, that's all the motivate. That's my motivation every day. Every time I drop something new, man, check this out. This is gonna help your job. This is gonna make you feel better about yourself. This is gonna make you more money. This is gonna give you freedom. That's what motivates me, Jacob.
You know what? I mean, you are absolutely correct in your motivation and passion. Like, I can see it, my viewers can see it, and everybody around you can see it because there are people out there who are in those cubicles right now ripping their hair out because they hate what they're doing. Their brain is so creative, so imaginative, but their job is nothing near that. So you giving them not only access but an entry point to start their own brand, whether it's clothing, whether it's, as you said, now you're starting into, the skateboard world. Your product is giving people the opportunity to get into that because, traditional machines are expensive, bulky. Most people don't live in 20,000 square foot warehouses, right? They live in a normal size, maybe, you know 500 by 500 or 200
Yeah,
by 200. So you really are providing people an opportunity to not only be financially free, but also expressing their creativity. Even if they do work in the cubicles all day long, at least they can come home and express that creativity through what they like to do. And so with this product and products and also your business, I'm sure it must have been so hard doing it alone. Have you had any mentors or any networking that you had to do to maybe build a team or get some insight on how to move forward and scale?
Man, I have one, I guess, official mentor when I first started off my business. He's a good friend of mine, Ronald Wilson. Man, and he took me under his wing as I jumped out of my corporate job into doing this. And I really loved painting. I was doing custom painted t-shirts, and that's kind of where I branded my shop as I first opened. Things were running slow, and he gave me some good advice. He was like, "Man, I know you love to paint on t-shirts, and I know you're an artist and you love that creative, but what's bringing you more money?" And I told him screen printing and printing shirts for others. And he said, focus on that for 2 years, establish yourself. And without that advice and that mentorship, that did help me get a more stable financial structure, but it also put me into the building of fractals because it made me focus on, and with that focus, life is about focus, man. What you get what you focus on. And so as I turned my focus to this screen printing machine, I realized that it lacked so much. I realized it didn't fulfill me. I realized that if I'm feeling like this, others feel like this. Um, and so as my mentorship, everybody I encounter, I learned something from a lot of people. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm really open to receiving information from the universe. I put myself, when I first jumped out there as an entrepreneur, that was an intentional thought every day was a mode that I am part of this bartering system as an entrepreneur that gives service to the community and In return, I expect the community to support me in a certain way. And with that exchange and that barter system, I think everybody is a mentor. I used to have a shop right on the main street on St. Mary's, and I used to get homeless people that come in, talk. We'd have the most in-depth conversations about life, after life, about everything. And I learned so much from so many different people that everybody's my mentor, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
Everybody.
And you know what? That's what makes the best entrepreneurs, because you have to be open to ideas, open to having conversations. There are so many entrepreneurs that are so, hard-headed. They just want to do it their way or no way. Rarely that works, but for the most part, you're just going to be, a lone ranger. No one is going to want to work with you. But when you have that open mind and you're willing to learn and willing to hear people out, you actually get their ideas that might make your product better, your business better, right? And even your outlook on life. So, you know what? That's actually really inspiring. So, hey, my entrepreneur friends, anybody who wants to become a business person, don't be a hardhead. Open yourself up, learn, right? Whether they're homeless or billionaires, learn. Everybody has a story to tell. So that actually leads me into my next question, Swin. What qualities do you think make a good entrepreneur? So we just mentioned, learning from others. What other qualities can, level up?
Man, I think the biggest qualities to me, perseverance. You have to have perseverance. You have to have patience. You have to be open-minded, and you have to have a vision and trust in your vision, and believe that things happen for you and not to you, and focus on the process. When you focus on the journey and the process and not the outcome, because you can't control the outcome. There's so many things, tangibles that happen, you know, where I'm doing things now that in most corporations, it's different departments that do these things. There's a creative department, there's a manufacturing department, there's a branding and marketing department. You feel me? There's a content creating department. You feel me? So there's so many different departments that, as an entrepreneur, you can't. I mean, I don't want to say you can't, because certain things are for certain people, man. I think I was blessed to be multi-talented. And I think this, of course, this journey is for me, because if you didn't have experience or have the know-how or the willing to work with your hands and be able to use power tools, the willingness to get in front of the camera and promote your product, the willingness to uh, just so on you can't even count all the different hats that we wear. You feel me? And so that's really what it is, man. To be able to embody everything that you need and believe that you have everything that you need to complete your journey. And that's, as an entrepreneur, man, just believe in yourself. That's what it's about.
That's exactly it, Swin. You have to wear many hats. You can have these big corporations. They have the different departments that are, filled with 10 people each. But when you're that entrepreneur, you got that drive, you're able to multitask, multi-work, and you're also multi-talented. You're not going to invest in so many departments and you're just sitting around. You're going to be that person that does it all. And I think that's who you are, man. You're embodied in that. You're great with your hands, you're great with the creativity, you are able to build, you have visions and imagination. And I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs these days need to have, especially when we're moving into this AI tech type of world where we're not just going to allow robots think for us, because as humans we still have that imagination and creativity that we can pull off. And so if someone wanted to become an inventor, whether it's something small or something big, just walk us through maybe some ideas or some advice that you would give to an introductory inventor, because I know it is hard, right? Being an inventor is definitely hard. It's not easy, just like any business. But by listening to your advice, I'm sure it might make it easier for them. So what advice can you give to a beginning inventor?
I think the best thing that you can do is know yourself. And this is in life, I guess, but it works as being an inventor as well. Know yourself, know what you're good at, and know what you're not good at, and know what you are capable of being good at if you focus your attention. And so for me, I knew that my process was better at building. I knew that I can build something if I put my mind to it. I I can engineer things. So as an inventor, what I would say is know what you're good at. If you are not good at building, but you have an idea of some physical product, then tap in with other people that can fulfill that for you. I tried that I tried to tap into a welder. It was just way too expensive. Way too expensive. So I had to buy a welder and say I could do it myself. So that was my process. But if you have the finances to be able to pay somebody else or hire somebody else to create, then go that route. But to me, it had so many iterations to Fractals that I would have ran out of money years ago. It would Fractals still wouldn't be out now if I would have went that route because I went through so many iterations. It's funny that when I was doing this X plug, I was working out of a local shop called Cream, man. Shout out to Cream Forever. And they let me come in there, and because they were the only people I knew that had, a manual press that I could try my. And so I was there for about 4 days straight. It took me about 4 days to really get it right. But I would come with a design, fit it. Okay, damn, that don't work. Boom. And I'll be right back. About an hour, 2 hours later, I come with a whole different look. Dude was like, man, that looks way different than the one you. I said, yeah, okay. Then, boom. Later in the evening, hey, can I come in real quick? I tried something totally new. And I did that for about 4 days straight. If I was going through somebody else and paying them to create my idea,
It would have
similar
taken
thing.
like weeks.
Weeks. Similar thing with brands. When you go to somebody else, hey, can you create this for me? And they take forever. Like speeding up that process. That's what you want to do. Speed up that process of your creativity to get to a iteration, a prototype that works. Once you got a prototype that works, now you want to protect it in a way without doing a full non-provisional patent. You want to do a provisional that'll allow you to get 12 months of protection, and then you put it into your market and see if do people even want this. Is this innovative as you thought it would be? Go through
Gotta
that
test out the market, yeah.
Yeah, test the market, man, and make sure that this is what people want. And once you're in that process, then you could go into the non-provisional as a permanent protection patent on your idea. But man, the best thing I would say, get through those fails as fast as you can. Run through those fails fast. You know what I mean? That's because things are coming to the market, bro. This is what I realized, Jacob, man. Ideas are not just given to one person. These ideas are in the ether, and they're given to people that are able to execute them. Then it depends on how persistent you are, how motivated you are. Because I felt like somebody's on my ass that has this idea of fractals already. Like this wasn't just given to me. I feel like this was given to a few people. And that's what made me work hard every day. Like I know somebody's thinking about this, but they ain't gonna outwork me. That was my thing. You're never gonna outwork me. Ever. Like you're not gonna put in more work than me. You're not going to be more dedicated than me. And when you get the product finally, I don't know if you'll be able to sell it better than I can because I had a lot of time to think about it and who it's for, who it's gonna benefit, right? And that's it, man. Get comfortable with the isolation and the solitude of having a vision that nobody else can see.
And you know what? That's actually a really good point. every idea has been given to multiple people. You're not the only person. It's all about who can actually execute it, right? It's just like, for example, just anything. Imagine like the table, right? The first table.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm sure a few thousand people got tables in their mind. Few
yeah,
hundred probably executed it, but maybe only a handful actually did it very well with the marketing, the quality, and so on. Like if as you said earlier, if you can't do it, don't be afraid to learn and do it yourself, or if you do have the finances to, get a third person to do it for you. Like, fun fact, when I started this YouTube stuff, I
mhm,
never knew even how to edit a video. I could
yeah,
have paid someone to do it, but then I thought in my head, okay, if I give this person the raw video at 5 p.m., by the time it uploads, gets to them, this, they might give it back to me in 3 days. Or I can spend the 2 hours, learn, spend 1 hour to actually do it myself and get it back to myself in 3 hours. So speed and getting to market and getting there, not only first, but getting there with high quality
yeah.
definitely matters. And you know
Yeah.
what? That was amazing advice for an inventor, because some people think, oh, that's already been done. Well, yeah, so what if it's been done? Can you do it better? Can you
You do
scale it
better.
more?
Right.
Right? And so, people are afraid. I'm sure inventors, entrepreneurs are afraid to take that first step. But, I guess people like us who have that idea, have that dream, we can still execute at a high level. So I'm so happy to see
And to add to that,
Fractals improving.
to
Huh?
add to that, to add to that, Jacob, is that when I dropped Fractals, when I finally released it, even this past X Plug series, but when I first dropped it as well, I had several people saying, "Man, I had that same idea, man," and I was thinking about that, and I tried to make something some years back, and boom, boom, and it just didn't work out. And I know, and then when they started explaining, yeah, I was trying to figure out the registration and what I can do. Like I know I've been there. Like I thought on that part for about a year or 2 years to get that right. Like each portion that you see took years to work through. And that whole process, once I get it working, is it user friendly? No, it's not. Damn. Um, that now it's cost too much to build. Like it takes me too long to make. Like all of these. So I know the process, the thinking process that a person goes through. And so when they say, "Yeah, I thought about that," you're like, "Yeah." Like I know you did. Like I felt you. I felt you thinking about it. Yeah, that's what kept going for it. That's real.
Exactly. And you know what? That's actually a good point, because people do say that. They're like, oh, you know what? That was actually a good idea. I was thinking about it. Well, that's the difference, right? One thinks about it, one actually executes it. So Swin, what are your plans for the future of fractals? Where do you see it in the next like 5 years or so? When people hear fractals, what do you want them to think about? Is it just print pods? Is it maybe something bigger is coming up in the horizon? Where do you see fractals in 5, maybe 10 years?
Man, to be honest with you, I'm taking the McDonald's approach, man, of just focusing on the Big Mac. Get the Big Mac
Nice.
popping. You know what I'm saying? And I shut down a lot of different areas, artistic expressions that I love to do in my life to just focus on fractals and establishing it as a, when you think about us, you think about innovation, you get inspired, you think about entrepreneurship. These are the words that I want to pop in your mind when you hear fractals. Oh, self-made. Oh, from the mud, like from the bottom to the top. Like that's because this story is, it's not a real common story in our industry. It happens in clothing brands, but as a machine manufacturer in our culture, it stands alone. And where I see ourselves in 5 years is really embedding ourselves in the culture and empowering the culture as another form of outlet that has adapted to the environment where markets are popping. There are markets happening every weekend, pop-up shops. Now we've brought something that happens usually in the private into the forefront. Now we're printing live at your market. We're letting our customer be part of the process by at Marcus, when we go, man, we have our brand, and now I'm gonna let you print this brand. I'm gonna let you print this shirt. Now you have a story that goes along, man. I met the owner of that brand, and I actually printed this shirt I'm wearing. Like creating that experience and continue to evolve with the times. Never get too big. And when I say too big, as when you're so big, your mobility is gone. Most of these other print shops that you could think of, and I don't even want to say none of their names, but these manufacturing companies, they're too big to keep up with me, and there's a department that has to make a decision where I'm the department at this moment. And when we do grow, it will still be a small enough creative department where when we have an idea, we'll always have that so close where we hash that out now. The speed of it. Never lose the speed of innovation. And I think if we keep that mind frame and that mindset in the next 5 to 10 years, man, that fractals is what you're gonna be hearing about.
Oh, 100%. And I really like the point that you made that, just like McDonald's, you don't want to expand and just do a million and one things. You want to stick to your staple that works, that is the face of the brand, and that is, the print pod, future attachments, of course, but the print pod is the Big Mac. It is the one that's going to, propel you to future inventions. And as you said, you're absolutely right when it comes to our culture, right? You will see a million and one clothing brands, but you rarely see an actual manufacturer, the actual builder, creator, not like brand creator, but creating the actual tool to do the brands. And I think you're one of a kind, Swin, and I think this is going to inspire others because there are many, I would say, people from our world who are great with their hands. They can build a house from scratch. They can build a car. They are good with their hands, but they just don't know what else they can do with it. And I think hopefully that when they watch this interview, they will be inspired and say, you know what? I never thought of building a machine that can help out this industry or this sector. And I think that's what we need to do for obviously our culture, for our people, because that is something that's missing. We always work for others, but we don't really work for ourselves. And we have the creativity, right? And I think when it comes to the future, you're absolutely right. Pop-ups, the experience. Once you might have a teenager who's just finishing high school, doesn't know what to do. You give them that experience, they're like, something clicks. I want to do this now. I want to build things. I want to start something. And I think that's really not only inspirational, but that's something that we are missing in our world. And I think that will be something that hopefully in the next 5 to 10, I'll be able to interview more people from our world where they're inventing new things, and they can go back and say, yeah, you remember that interview with Swin? That was my inspiration. And that's what we live for.
Sometimes you just gotta see it, man. And that's part of our culture. We've always innovated. I mean, whether it be from the stoplight to ironing board to surveillance systems to a lot of AI features. Like as our culture, we've done a whole lot of innovation, and it's just not highlighted much. Once you see something done, I mean, the AI, man. I mean, AI hasn't. Allen Iverson, I'm talking about. When I say AI, I'm talking about
number 3.
The original AI. You know what I'm saying? When the crossover, he didn't get a brand new ball. He didn't have special shoes. Once he shows you what it could do, how you do it, then everybody started doing it.
Yep.
Once you've seen the 360 dunk, or you've seen Steph shoot from way behind the three. Now everybody can. I mean, you could have did it before. You just didn't see it. You have to visualize it first sometimes, right? And once you visualize, they say once a record is broke, you'll see things they keep breaking because now it's, oh, I didn't even know we can run that fast. I didn't even know nobody can shoot the ball from that far and make it consistently. I didn't know you can maneuver the basketball in that way. You've always been able to do it, but it just takes somebody to show you. And so if I'm the person that has to show our culture within this um, brand and apparel industry and fashion, that we can also be creators and inventors of the tools that we use to be creative with, I bet you coming up in the next couple of years, there's going to be more of me. And that's what,
100%.
you know.
100%. And that's what it is, right? Like even Steph Curry, the reason he started shooting from way beyond was because his drive game wasn't the best. He was kind of a smaller dude. So, he had to do something to get those points. Allen Iverson, he was a small dude. He needed that space to get that shot. So how would you do that? You got to do the crossover. So, you know what? These are people who saw a weakness or saw a gap that they needed to fill and they filled it. So Swin, no, that was amazing wisdom. So last interview, I didn't ask you fun questions. So this interview, I kind of added this to my interviewing segment. So I'm just going to ask you 3 fun questions about yourself and Fractals. And my viewers like it. So first question is, if Fractals was a person, what kind of personality would it have?
Fractals would be Fractals would have like an Andre 3000 dress code.
Nice.
If y'all know who Andre 3000 is, 3 Stacks, from the legendary
Outcast.
Outcast, right? He would have that individuality, that flashiness. He would be a person that's very confident, secure, not cocky, but bold. You know, Fractals would be the one that's gonna stand out in the room.
You know what? I can totally see you in like an awesome, like either full yellow and red suit, or even something just pops out. That is swag. That is definitely an Andre thing. I love it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
what is the most random app on your device or your phone? Just some random app that you have on your phone. Maybe you check it out once in a while.
Probably my most random app. Okay, I have the Circle K app that gives me 40 cents off of gas every once in
Oh,
a while.
40 cents. Oh man, we definitely need that out here.
Gotta get that app. But that one, and I had this app that I downloaded. I don't even know where I seen it, but it was an app that allowed you to turn people's face into like a AI type of profile. And so I have everybody that's saved under my favorites. They have this AI face. That's probably my most random app, man. I don't play games on my phone. I don't have no games downloaded. Um,
No, I love asking that question because some of the apps that I hear is just hilarious. Like I saw one app where somebody had an app where it told them exactly where the sun rises, so they would actually go to that direction because they love sunrises and sunsets. So that was pretty cool too. All right, last question. If you were not an inventor in a totally unrelated career, what career would you be in?
hmm. I think I would be the inventor in any career I was in. I would
Nice,
definitely be innovating wherever I'm at. So if it wasn't in the apparel industry, which I just kind of stumbled upon anyways, I would be anywhere, bro. Like I think I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now, just whether it be in some type of sports industry, uh, any type of artistic realm. I'm cool. I would be comfortable in the automotive. I would be really comfortable in. I love outer space, bro. I love space. It's always intrigued me.
nice.
So anything that has to do with space travel or oceanography, I just love the unknown, man.
The unknown.
Those are the 2 things. We don't know much about space, and we don't know much about our own ocean.
You know what?
But
That's the mind of an inventor, right? The inventor, creates inventions to solve the unknown, to find out the unknown. That's amazing, man. So, if Fractals doesn't work out, get that astronaut spacesuit ready.
I always felt that, bro. That's my biggest. Like, I love ancient astronaut theory. I love that. I love how you see in the pyramids where you will see the carvings of a spaceship. You'll see a jet airplane, a helicopter. You'll see a submarine. Like these things that I feel like history, and I call the creator, I call God the supreme inventor. He's the most greatest inventor I've ever like anybody's ever seen. He
Yep.
creates the best systems in the world of our from come on man our cardiovascular system to our
Just looking at the human body alone, that's
all the
intelligent
systems
design.
that are in our body, right? You know, it's just so beautiful that there's so many things that we don't know, and I think just that alone keeps my mind flowing and intrigued.
I absolutely love that. You know, if more people thought like that, then you know what, we'd have way more creativity, way more inventions out there that are pushing humanity forward. Thank you for that, Swin. That was amazing, amazing fun facts that I'm sure my viewers will take a giggle at, but also think about as well. So
I got
Swin,
a question for you.
all right, go for it.
All right, now it's my turn to do some interviewing. Jacob, so, you get the opportunity to speak to so many different people, and there's so much value in that. You get to learn about how people think. I see some of your interviews of people that are in the financial sector. I mean, they're in the AI sector. They're in all these different apparel sector, right? What made you or what intrigued you about learning about other people's life and their journey?
You know what, Swin? That's actually a really good question. I haven't been asked that. So me, back in school, I was always fascinated with history. I love learning about the past, whether it was modern history or ancient history. And I loved how things worked, how people lived, what did they eat, how did they build their homes, you know? Because right now we look at life as we're so advanced, but if you actually look at it, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, they were also way advanced. So when I'm speaking to people of this day and age, whether they're in medicine, clothing, AI, whatever it is, finance, I ask questions that I personally want to know. So because I'm such a curious person, you know, curiosity did kill the cat. Maybe it will one day, but I am very, very curious when it comes to how are you living? What are you doing? And my goal is hopefully in 100 years, 2,000 years, whenever these videos that I'm making can highlight and help the future people to understand what we were living like, how we were living, what we were doing, because what we have in the past is hieroglyphics, maybe a few books, papers here and there, oral traditions. But now that we live in this very, you know, tech video type of world, I figured that I want to start leaving a little bit of crumbs for the future so they can understand. So I'm not out here trying to interview, you know, celebrities, which will be cool, but I want to interview the, you know, inventors, the doctors, the engineers, the financiers, because I think these are the ones that are creating and building the current society. So when 100, 200,000 years from now, they will look back on this and say, wow, so this is how they built that. This is what they were thinking. So that's my goal. I know in the beginning I started off as finance, but then as this developed and grew, I started looking at it more as, you know what, I have an opportunity here to interview the best, interview the unique, and yeah, that is actually my goal.
That's what we have in common, man. That curiosity.
It is. And you know, they always say that the curious ones, you know, sometimes we're the most loneliest, as they say. But I called it the most leaders. I think we're leaders. We're not lonely. We have fun by ourselves all the time. I think we're just leaders, you know. And I
Yeah.
think that's why I interviewed you when I first saw your stuff on Instagram. I'm like, you know what, this guy's paving the way. I don't know much about, you know, the printing press. I don't know much about clothing brands, but you know what? I can tell that this is going to revolutionize the future. So when they look back on it and they have like, you know, floating print pods and stuff, they're like, how did it start? And then they're gonna see
Right,
this interview and they're like, yo, that was Swin, that was Fractals. So I'm
right.
happy that you're here with me today, and I know in the future we'll always be doing interviews, maybe one day link up, you know, and we'll do some damage out here, and that's the goal.
Man, that part for sure.
No, definitely. And you know what, Swin? I'm so looking forward to hearing about your next invention in about a year. But we'll definitely connect before that because I'm sure with the X plug, it's gonna revolutionize some things, and you got some more stories to tell us.
For sure, man. And I appreciate you once again, man, just keeping that curiosity open, man, and giving a platform to people like me and that just, want to inspire people that have a story.
100%.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the goal, man. That's the goal. Learning, lifelong learners. That's what we are.
that's it.
So
Yeah.
Swin, I know you're a busy person, pushing these out. I know you got some awesome deliveries going out this week. So before we end this interview, are there any last mentions, significant events coming up? Maybe you might popping up somewhere, or anything that you want to say to the digital world?
Man, we're going to continue to be doing our live interactive printing always. So you watch us on the gram or YouTube. We have a podcast that we're going to be launching in the next couple of months as well. That's going to be highlighting just current events, man, wrapped around screen printing t-shirts. And so, really, man, I just want to leave with everybody the energy of innovation, the energy of freedom, and the energy of perseverance and the energy of growth. Never be closed off. Keep your mind open for new ideas, for new ways of doing things, for ways to improve yourself and your health. Because without good health, man, that's my prayer every morning. Thank you for allowing me to be healthy so I can continue to work hard every day. And so we got to keep improving these things, and there's more power to you. All love.
Definitely. And you know what? You said it best, my friend. You said it best. So, my viewers, in the description box, I will have all of Fractals and Swin's information, website. Please check them out. For those of you who are already in the clothing industry, definitely check them out. For those looking to get into the clothing industry, definitely check them out because I'm not in the clothing industry, but if I was, I definitely will be part of the Fractals ecosystem. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to hit up Swin. He will definitely answer him. Hit me up because you know what? We need more inventors. We need more imaginative, creative people. So, Swin, thank you so much for being here with me today. We will definitely catch up soon. My viewers, this will not be the only time you're going to see Swin on this channel. We're going to ride out the journey and see what happens. So, until the next time, stay ranting.